In the first 10 seconds before you finish your first sentence, people decide whether you are credible. And it's not your words that determine that decision. No, it's your body. In this episode, you will learn how leaders unknowingly signal weakness, how your body language either amplifies or sabotages your message, and how one simple hand gesture can make $5 million sound like a lie. To do all that, I'm joined by none other than Mark Bowden. He's ranked the world's #1 communications keynote speaker and body language expert who's trusted by Fortune 500 CEOs and heads of governments. This episode will change how you think about body language, authenticity, and first impressions. Let's dive in. What's the truth about first impressions?
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, one of the first truths is you can redo a first impression. There is this idea of you can never change a first impression. No, you can change it again and again and again and again. You just need to know exactly what the brain needs to see in order to alter its first impression of somebody and, let's say, reframe that person. So you can redo a first impression, but of course, why would you want to? I mean, why not make a really good first impression in the first place? That would be because it's obviously a lot of energy and concern to redo a first impression. So you should try and make a first not maybe first good impression, because maybe you want to make a bad impression. I don't know what impression you want to make. Okay,
with intention. Impression.
Yeah.
Impression with intention.
Yeah, exactly. Look, how do you want to come across? What's your brand? How do you want to be framed, including everything that you say? How do you want to be framed? Make that first impression, because that will absolutely decide for people exactly what they hear from you to fit that first impression.
I mean, staying on the topic of first impressions, what do you need to think about? Body language, voice, what I say? What's most important?
Well, the science would tell us that it's most important what you do, your behavior, including how you sound. And it isn't really important what you say for a first impression. And this is about the theory of mind that the audience have, be it one or many, their theory about what you're thinking and feeling towards them. Okay? So you'll have heard all of this stuff about, 93% of all communication is nonverbal. Well, of course, that's nonsense. The moment you hear that, it's a wonderful idea, but ultimately, it can't be true. I know it can't be true. And we know that's not accurate. However, what we do know is that when another human being is getting a theory of mind about you, their theory about how you intend and feel and think about them, they mainly want to see how you're moving, your behavior, and the context that you're in. So they're mainly wanting visual information to have a theory of mind about that, to feel very confident about their predictions about you. They are somewhat wanting to hear the tonality of your voice, the music of your voice, again, to get a theory about how you're thinking and feeling towards them, and that theory to feel very certain for them, like they feel very confident they predicted you correctly, and they're not that concerned about what you say. And in fact, what they'll do with the words is distort and delete what you're saying in order to make it fit their assumption about their theory of mind. So look, bit of a convoluted technical answer there, but I hope that makes sense to you, Oliver.
It totally makes sense. It reminds me of the sentence that, there is an objective reality, but we only have subjective access to it.
Yeah, exactly. And once we've made that subjective opinion about it, it feels very true to us. Because imagine a world where you made assumptions about that world, but every assumption you ever made, you'd be questioning yourself. But am I right? Maybe they're not that. Maybe they're this. Well, how would you get on in the world? I mean, how would you eat breakfast? Because your brain would be full of questions. Now, there are some people on the planet who are like that more of the time than you and me, or they have kind of spells of feeling like that, and they'll find it quite hard to function in the world when they're constantly questioning the reality that they're forming for themselves. So look, you make an assumption about me, I make an assumption about you. That assumption feels very, very real until that assumption is kind of blasted out of the water and I go, wow, I didn't think Oliver was like that. I really, misjudged this. But it needs to be a major misjudgment. Otherwise, I'll just make everything fit good enough for my assumptions.
Because we like to be consistent with our previous thinking as it is.
Yeah, I mean, not only do we like to be consistent, it's important for it to be consistent because otherwise you're having to change your mind on minutia all the time. And there's a lot of people on the planet. And so therefore, you don't have the capacity to do that. You need to make an assumption, make the world fit it, and get on with life.
Let's say I'm going into a meeting or I'm assuming a new role, right? I'm meeting my team for the first time. What should I definitely avoid thinking about making a good, positive first impression? Because I want to deal with these people for the next few years as customers, as team members. So I want to come across as, a good, competent person with integrity. What should I definitely not do?
Okay, so I love that you have been very definite about the effect that you're trying to have. A good, competent person. Because most people would ask that question and go, well, what do I do for a first impression? And I'd be like, well, I don't know. What first impression are you looking for? Because there's no bad body language. There's no bad behavior, just results that you wanted or didn't want. Okay. Open body language. It's as simple as that. And I'm going to be really specific, which is open palm gestures at exactly navel height. Okay. You want to be showing more of your behavior for a start. The more that they can see, the more they feel they can trust their prediction. And the more they feel they can trust their prediction, the more positive they'll make their prediction. Even if you're showing some negative body language, the more they feel that they can see that, the more they feel that they have judged you accurately, and the more positive they can be about you, because they can go, hey, this Oliver guy, there's some bad stuff about him, but hey, I can see it. Yeah. And so I'm ready for that. And so this is a good guy to be around because I'm ready for him. Okay. So this idea of trustworthiness and competence is really about, can I predict you? Yeah. Because if I can predict you, I can compensate for what I'm predicting. And therefore it's a safer, more predictable world for me. So look, show more of yourself. Okay. Not only can they see more, but even of what they see, can they see vulnerable areas of your body? Okay. So that would be open palms. Can they see? Do you have tools or weapons in your hands? If they can see, hey, no tools, no weapons, more predictable, safer. Can they see vulnerable points on the body? That might be wrist area, underneath the arms area. Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's why the hands up in the air above your head or at head height, what we'll often call the surrender gesture, is a no tools, no weapons. You've got access to all the vulnerable areas on my body, okay? And you can see that clearly from a distance. The higher the hands go, the more they can be seen from a distance, literally often on a flat plane, literally miles away, that can be seen. Okay, so high predictability even before you've got within striking distance of another human being. So open palm gestures, navel height. Why navel height? The navel is the center of gravity for a human being. Okay, all our movement is centered around that area, and there's some very delicate organs there which aren't protected by ribs all the way down. Okay, if another human being takes control of that center of gravity, you're in big trouble. Okay. And so if I'm open palm gestures, navel height, nice and open, it's more predictable and safer for you. You like me more, and your brain goes, Mark is more likely to be trustworthy and credible. And so now you start to listen to what I have to say. And now you alter that. You literally will alter the words. You'll hear different words. You'll hear different punctuation. Yeah. You'll invoke or project a different meaning on what I'm saying to fit your assumption that I'm calm, assertive, confident, credible, and a benefit to you.
It is so fascinating how much of communication, particular body language, goes back to human evolution. It just always blows my mind. It's pretty much everything, because someone may listen to us and think, yeah, I'm not thinking about weapons. We're in a business meeting. No, you may not actually think about it, but your subconsciousness definitely is processing the information.
Right. And look, let's just dig into that, because that's really important. How long has business been around? Shall we say? Well,
John Rears.
Yeah. I mean, at the level that you and I do business, I mean, not very long at all. A few hundred years at the most. Okay. Certainly, this idea of being able to communicate with electronic technology. I mean, that is literally, as you say, that's 100 years maximum. Okay. Look, civilization, arguably has only been around between, let's just say, 14 to 7,000 years, something within that. We've been domesticating dogs for 30,000 years. So we've had a very intimate relationship with other working organisms that we've evolved alongside for 30,000 years. Language, arguably, has only been around for something like 200 to 100,000 years, okay, depending on your argument around that. Anything earlier than that, and we've been upright hominids, have been around for let's say about 2.5 million years for social mammals, let's say. Okay, social mammals, 2.5 million years. So we have been using our what's called an ACS, animal communication system, within our evolution for millions of years, and the phone's only been around for 100. So we are going to be very reliant on the old system, the same system that my dog connects with me.
Yes.
Hasn't a clue what I'm saying language-wise. Can understand some plosive sounds that I make, but nothing more than that.
But they understand body language and the face and the eyes. But coming back to business, right? We talked about the hands, the body, the navel, the navel area. What about the eyes and the facial expressions?
Yeah. Okay. Look, important, but not as important as the rest. Okay. So if you look, if you track eyes when they meet another person, okay, those eyes are instantly tracking to the center of gravity. Like, what's that doing? What are the hands doing? So where's the person's intention? Where are they going to take the mass of their body? Where are they going to take their hands? And what are they doing with those hands? It's then looking for, is this a male or a female? Because there's more risk in a male. Males will have higher levels of testosterone. Okay. That will have created a bigger bulk of muscle. On the whole, the male will see less risk, so they're more likely to be violent, okay, and aggressive. Okay, so the male, as a good generalization, is more dangerous than the female in a generalized circumstance. Not, of course, not in every circumstance, but evolution does generalizations that mean you're alive and I'm alive today. We're only alive because of those massive generalizations that kept our gene pool going. So look, we are very concerned with the body. When we do go to the face, again, we're making a prediction. Okay. And we're going to make a prediction towards the negative of emotion, because the face is really about what's the emotion going on here. Are they happy, sad, angry, contemptuous? A whole bunch of emotions, maybe about 7, universal ones. Okay. And which one is it? Okay. Now, what we'll tend to do is gravitate towards predicting negative emotions, unless we're given very, very clear, long signals of positive ones. So if in doubt, they're sad, angry, upset with us. Okay. Otherwise, if no data default to a negative, if insufficient data default to a negative, if no data default to a negative, and only if massive positive data default to a positive. So here's what you need to extract from this, Oliver, is when you go into that meeting, you will default to negatives about the other people in the room, unless they're giving you massive information to the contrary of that. So here would be my advice: suspend your judgment. You have no idea what's going on.
You also, I mean, we're talking about body language quite a bit here, but you also wrote that reading body language is not the key to executive communication. So
No.
is that why it is not the key? Because we're just rubbish at reading other people? And
Well, we're not rubbish at it because it keeps us alive. But we're very good at making assumptions about it that mean our genes are more likely to be carried on. Okay, so there's this, Dawkins' selfish gene piece going on. Listen, I'm going to bias towards evolutionary behavioral psychology because that's what I am. Essentially, we're very good at sustaining our genetic code, and therefore the algorithm that we have going on is not one that's trying to be accurate. It's trying to be safe today, accurate tomorrow. Now, my guess is that if you're a decent business person, certainly a lot that I work with, and they would go, "Hey, Mark, just give me the data, and I'll analyze the data, and I'll make a really good, decision on this." They feel like they're data driven, but they have to be trained and understand that they're not. They're not. They're making assumptions for their own benefit. Their instinct wants to be safe today, accurate tomorrow. But their intellect wants to be accurate today. But their instinct is running their intellect. It's going to. Let me show you this, and let me show you a clear example of this, and I'll ask for your feedback on it so that anybody listening can get a sense of what you were feeling from what you were seeing. They'll hear it in my voice. But I'm going to give you some numbers, Nick. I'm going to give you some numbers, and these are audited numbers, okay? But I'm going to present those numbers to you with my hands at a different horizontal height each time I give them to you, okay? And so I just want to ask for your feelings about those numbers.
Yeah,
okay,
great.
Okay, so here we go. So last year, the company made $5 million in profit, which is a fantastic amount. I'm really pleased about that.
Right. So Mark has his hands in. I can't see your hands. For those who are just listening to I can't see your hands. I'm not super convinced by what you just said. I have to say, I can't see your hands, and you're feeling a little. I mean, your shoulders are a little slouched, and I don't get the vibe that that this is a very convincing statement.
Let me give you another set of numbers. So last year, the company made $5 million in profit, which is a fantastic amount. I'm really pleased about that. Okay, so what do you think now, Oliver? How do you think about this $5 million?
I barely heard what you said, but it sounded really convincing. And you raised your hands up to like shoulder levels, and you gesticulated essentially the numbers, right? The size of the numbers. So your hands and your words were aligned. And I think that for me is always the word I'm zooming in on, right? Is everything aligned? Is the face, the words, the body language, is everything aligned? Because that's what it takes to get a message across, in my view.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, so ultimately, you feel better about that $5 million than the first.
So much better. Absolutely.
I mean, weird, because it's the same audited $5 million.
It is.
I mean, the numbers should speak for themselves, shouldn't they? I mean, that's what everybody says. The numbers will speak for themselves, audited numbers. Here's what I'm going to suggest, though, and you can tell me how true this is. How accurate, I know you're excited by the $5 million, but how accurate do you think the number 5 million was? Last year, the company made $5 million in profit, which is a fantastic amount. I'm really pleased about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice round number, but it's also, usually it's not 5 million, it's 4.78 or whatever it is, right?
Okay, so you remember you gave me a lower number there as to your assessment. So across the world, when I bring my hands to chest height and deliver that $5 million, people think I'm exaggerating. They're positive about it. They go, "This seems like a good deal," but they feel Mark might be exaggerating.
Yeah,
somewhat.
interesting.
Come back in a second as to why that happens. Let me give you another $5 million. So last year, the company made $5 million in profit, which is a fantastic amount. I'm really pleased about that. So explain how you feel and what I was doing there as well.
Yeah. So you're holding your hands in front of your mouth, which makes it more difficult to hear you, but also to see your facial expressions. So I wonder what's going on. Why are your hands in front of your mouth? Are are you lying? I mean, that's one thought that would pop to mind, right?
Right.
Why
It's
are
one,
you doing this? This is a
yeah.
weird gesture.
Yeah, it's one thought that's popped into your mind. Am I lying? And all I needed to do was give you insufficient data about what's happening in my mouth.
Yes.
The data about the numbers is as sufficient as all the other times.
Yeah.
As sufficient. Yeah. The data hasn't changed. The only data I've changed is what you're seeing. And now notice how you've got a narrative about me that's now negative.
Yes.
Okay. And how quickly I could do that to you. And on command, I decided I'd do that to you.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. And listen, you might think, hey, that's okay because I'm never going to do that. But you'll do that 20 minutes into every meeting, sit down meeting.
Oh, you see people in meetings all the bloody time, holding, resting their head, talking with their hand. They probably don't realize it, but everyone else is realizing it, right?
So you're there resting the 12 pounds of your brain on the stick of your arm, and then they go, hey, well, let's go through the numbers. And you go, well, it's a $5 million project, and it will be on time, and it will be on budget.
Yeah.
And they're not buying it. They're not buying it.
Oh, will it?
Yeah. And here's what happens. Here's what happens, Oliver. They go, well, can you go and get some other numbers on this? You think to yourself, well, there aren't any other numbers. I mean, I can go and make some up. That would be lying, and that's illegal. Yeah. I mean, I can't defraud you. Like the numbers are the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah? We need to study this further will be the answer, right?
Right. Let me give you one more, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So last year, the company made $5 million in profit, which is a fantastic amount. I'm really pleased about it.
Perfect.
Okay, so Oliver, give me feedback on that one.
I love it. So hands at navel, in the navel area, which is what we talked about before. And this came across as genuine and trustworthy. So I'd say, yeah, that checks out. I believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's notice how quickly your instinct goes, yeah, that checks out. That's good. And it sends a message to your intellect going, make those numbers credible. Now, they're as credible or incredible as all the other times. Okay? All I did was specifically change the horizontal height that I had my hands. That's all. Yeah?
It's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. How do we deal with this online? I'm thinking about eyes in the cameras and the hands, which usually, most setups, you have a laptop and you're somewhere, and it's really not ideal in many cases. So what do we need to think about when it comes to virtual communications, which is what most people do most of the time now?
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so you're right. It's not ideal. And here's why virtual is not ideal. Because first of all, this is a low-risk communication. Okay, it's what we might call a cheap signal. It really cost me nothing to get on this call with you, and it's cost you really nothing, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, you haven't even had to supply me with a cup of coffee. I have to get my own. Okay, so I have to be very self-sufficient, and you don't have to do all the usual social things that you would do if I came round to visit you face to face and breathe the same air and get in the same in striking distance of you, okay, and breathe the same air as you. At that point, risk would go up, and at that point, you would now start to assess me as more valuable because there's more risk that you put into this. Okay, simple algorithm. The more you put into it, the more valuable you think it is. You sunk cost, and you've sunk very little cost into this. So now I've got to increase the cost of this for you. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and look down the camera as much as I can and get really strong eye contact with you to give you the impression that we are intimate with each other. Because if we're intimate with each other, i.e., we're happy being in the same physical space and there's less risk, that means that you must already know me. If you already know me, that must mean that you trust me. So I'm trying to increase the idea of trust quicker by raising social risk faster. I'm trying to be more animated with you as well, which means I'm bringing my hands up into what I'd call the passion plane, up to chest height, which is more exciting. I'm noticing you're doing the same. Now, partly that might be you've realized as well, you need to do that on a video to keep viewers more engaged, but also you'll be mirroring me. somewhat because I'm being really clear and consistent.
Both of these things, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, I'm making sure you can see more of me because the lens is quite tight on this. Yeah. I'm making sure you can see more of me. I'm closing the gap between you and me in order to give you the impression that we're already intimate. And I'm getting strong eye contact with you in order to give you the impression that we're already very intimate, which must mean you already trust me. So I'm kind of, let's say, influencing you into feeling like we're already more connected than we would be.
It's a shortcut, and often we need this because, you're in Toronto, I'm in Berlin. That's,
Right.
thousands and thousands of kilometers apart. So, I would love to show up in your living room with a cup of coffee and 2 microphones, but it's just unrealistic on this Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Are you sick and tired of spending 8 hours preparing for a 1-hour presentation? You're not alone. That's why I created my tactical guide, 50 presentation hacks. It's for free. Grab it in the show notes. So some people may think, okay, Oliver, Mark, you're pros, you're very confident in doing these things and you know exactly how to do these things, but I'm kind of lacking confidence. What do you tell people who ask you this? So how can I become a more confident communicator?
Yeah. Okay. So lovely. Confident, from medieval Latin, confides, with trust. Okay. With trust. So what they're actually asking is, how could I trust myself more? Yeah. And how would other people trust me more? So how could I be more trustworthy, worthy of them, trusting me? And how could I trust myself? How could I be confident in myself? Well, confidence is about prediction. Okay. So how can you let other people know what you're going to do? And how can you let yourself know what you're going to do? So for yourself, I'd go, well, do you have a plan? And can you keep to the plan? What's your communication plan? Because if you go in with a plan and you execute your plan, you will feel more confident, more trusting in yourself. Because you're like going in going, hey, this is a risky situation. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm anxious. I'm nervous. That's what the instinct will do. If it can't predict, it'll go, uh-oh, we're in trouble. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And if you don't have a plan, it'll go, I got a plan. Let's not do this. Let's get the hell out of here. Okay. Let's throw a sick day on this one. Yeah. Let's minimize ourselves. Let's make ourselves so small in the room that hopefully the predators don't even see us. The risk doesn't even notice us. Okay. So my plan might be make myself bigger in the room. Okay. Because if I'm a little bit bigger in the room, if I take up more of the territory that I should, maybe the others will predict me as being more trustworthy because I own the space that is rightfully mine. Okay, there's my plan. My plan is maximize. Where am I going to maximize? Well, trust and credibility, truth plane. Yeah, at that navel height, open palm gestures at navel height. There's my plan. I got one plan, Oliver. I'm going to walk in and I'm going to maximize my gestures in what I call the truth plane, those open palm gestures at navel height. You may say to me, Mark, what else? And I go, that's my plan. That's all I'll be able to execute. I'm going to be under stress and pressure. It's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's a big deal. Yeah. But if I execute that part of the plan, my unconscious will see how well I'm executing it. Yeah. It will go, great. You're executing your plan. I can now calm down and use my cognitive load to deal with these numbers that are being thrown at me, these ideas that are coming at me. I can now use my cognitive resource. So here's what I suggest people do. Have one very simple plan to execute with a technique that you know is likely, more than likely, super likely to work, yeah, for minimum effort and resource. You don't want a complex plan that's hard to do. You want a simple plan that's easy to do again and again and again. Okay?
Yes, I love that. And here's a complex plan that I would avoid. I have this 30-minute presentation, so I wrote down every word I want to say on pieces of paper. It's like 8 pages now. Now I'm trying to memorize these 8 pages, like if I'm some famous actor. And then I'm standing in front of a crowd and will deliver these 8 pages that I'm trying to memorize in a very natural and authentic way. That seems like a terrible plan to me.
Terrible plan, because number one, you're practicing, okay, and you don't know what's going to happen. And that was your instinct's problem, is your instinct went, this is high risk. There's a lot of resource on the line here. We don't know what's going to happen in the room. What's our plan? And you're now planning for exactly what's going to happen. And you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to prepare for the unpredictable. Okay.
Yes. And you need fragile communication.
Absolutely. You need to manage the not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you go in trying to practice for the not knowing, you are dead in the water, because the moment you walk in, your instinct will go, damn, I didn't expect that. Who are they? Like, what are they here for? Why aren't they here? Well, what's going on? Oh, no, the technology doesn't work. I didn't think the screen would be there. I thought it would be over there. Where am I sitting? I was hoping, it's all gone. Okay. And so adrenaline, the adrenal glands that, just above your kidneys, okay, they are going to pump a chemical directly into your stomach. Okay. So it goes across your bloodstream really fast. And the first thing that chemical is going to do is to knock out your short-term memory. Because that's not necessarily. You don't need those neurons anymore. They're going to take up extra oxygen. So it's like,
everything get rid of the legs so you can do a runner, probably.
Absolutely. So you can do a runner. Yeah. And deal with the moment. Deal with the moment. All neurology is going to deal with the moment and get you the hell out of there, or attack. You're going to retreat or attack or play dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those. Okay. And so all that work that you did over the week and last night of memorizing your stuff, yeah, that's gone. That's gone. You were great in the hotel room. Now you're a disaster.
It's a disaster. Yeah. So we agree, don't memorize. I always say, don't memorize, remember what you want to say. Have a structure, know the key points, have them in your head, because whatever you thought is going to help you, the slides, your little cue cards, or, the teleprompter, God forbid, all of that stuff is just going to be, a risk, a complexity.
Yeah.
So try to figure out what you want to say and just say it.
Yeah. Here's the way I'd go with it, Oliver, is focus on the audience and how you're trying to help them. Because you're presenting, you are now in a social situation. Yeah. You are now not an individual, you're a social mammal, and you are cooperating with others in the room. You are trading with them. Yeah. If that's not happening, I don't know what you're doing in the room. Like, leave. This is pointless. Okay. There's a trade going on, and they don't have something right now. If they already have it, get out the room. You have no point. Yeah. They either have it and they think they're going to lose it. Okay. Or they have something, but it's the wrong thing, or they don't have anything at that point. And it's your duty to go in and help them have what they need and trade with them on that. And that's why you're presenting. So here's what I do. I walk in the room, open palm gestures at navel height. Yeah. And the first thing I do is check out what the problem is. Yeah. I don't have a problem. The only problem I have is, can I help you? Mm-hmm. That's the only problem. And the first moment in that problem is, can I check what the issue is? And I want you to say it out loud to me and to each other. Because if you say that problem out loud to each other, socially to me, I can help you. But if you keep it a secret, there's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I walk in and I don't start presenting. I say, I'm basically going, you prove yourself to need me, or need a solution. And at that point, I'll ask, would you like one? And then if you say yes, I'll go ahead.
The less we think about ourselves and the more we think about the audience and how can we help them, the easier it becomes.
Well, yeah, because the less self-conscious you are. Yeah, self-consciousness, that nervousness is like, well, who am I? What am I doing? How am I doing? Do they like me? No, who are you? What are you doing? Yeah, do you like you? What's up with you right now? I mean,
Right.
yeah.
Often people say to me, and probably to you as well, Oliver, you teach me to do this with my hands and this with my voice and, move and speak in these certain ways. It doesn't feel authentic. What do we tell them?
Yeah. Well, number one, it's like, what did you expect? I mean, it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the moment you get asked to present, you've said yes, or you haven't said no. Yeah. You have put yourself in an extraordinary position.
Yes.
You are most likely going in front of strangers or people with power who don't have something, and they're asking you, though you may not have heard it, will you try and give us something that we lack at the moment? Yeah. Now, doing that in front of strangers or people who have resource that you need, essentially, you wanting to trade with them, yeah, like that's a high risk situation. It would be much easier to stay at home and be provided for rather than go out and provide to, with the risk of them going, I don't like yours, I like theirs instead. Theirs provides better than yours. Yeah, or I just didn't understand yours. Or I kind of get yours, but I don't like you, and I don't know why I don't like you, but I just don't, because you give me a bad feeling. Like, there's massive risk in that. Who would do that? Who would do that? Well, people who are either don't understand the risk that they're putting themselves in, or they're okay with that risk. Yeah, they're okay with it, or they're going to manage that risk. Now, most of the people that I work with are managers of the risk. They go, look, it's kind of silly to do this. It's kind of silly to go in front of the whole nation and go, here's the answer. But I got elected and it's my duty to do it. And so I got myself into this situation. So I better deliver on this because it's my duty to deliver this. And I go to them, well, now you're in an extraordinary situation. And so you must do extraordinary behaviors to you. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. Get over it.
Yeah, right? Exactly. This is big boy time and big girl.
Yeah.
And often I think people confuse, because they don't want to be uncomfortable, they confuse their current skill level and habits with their authentic self.
Listen, Oliver, I wish people said that more. There aren't. To be frank, I'm going to be personal and frank with you right now. Like, it's just us. Like we're some of the only people on the communication professionals that say that. Because there's a lot out there, and I experience that they are wrong. They're just wrong. That say, look, just be you and you'll be fine. You won't. Yeah, up to a certain level. And then like it won't connect. The most extraordinary version of you. Yeah, the you in the discomfort, managing the discomfort is more likely to connect, because the whole of the nation or the organization is going to go, look, we are in trouble right now. Yeah. There is a problem. We need a leader. We need guidance. We need a star to follow right now because we don't know where we're going. Yeah. And they will go, who is managing the not knowing here? Yeah. And they'll go, that one over there. Look at them. They understand the situation. They understand this is tricky. And look, they are behaving purposely in such a way to manage this situation. They look like they've got it right now. And of course, that leader is going, internally, they're going, doing the best I can. And this feels awkward and odd, but I'll manage that. Don't you worry about me. I'll manage this. I'm not going to go, well, it feels really terrible. Oh, I'm sorry. It feels really inauthentic to me. Get over it. Get on with it.
When people say, "I just behave naturally," no, it's a completely unnatural situation. So behaving naturally is just dumb advice in my view.
Listen,
I'm not arguing for performing. I'm
No.
asking for authentic in the sense that what you believe, what you do, what you say is aligned, and you're bringing the best parts of your personality forward, over-index on those, and develop your skills and improve your habits when it comes to communications. That's at least my take on this.
Yeah, let me build on that and reiterate that. Look, people talk about, being authentic and being their true self. I want you to imagine the self like a diamond. The diamond has many facets to it. Okay, like the way I'm talking to you right now, okay, is not the way that I talk to my mum and dad. Mm-hmm. Okay, so which is the real me, Oliver? Like, which is the true? Yeah, both.
And many more.
And many more. And many more. That if we sat down in a certain situation, you might see a different side of me. Okay, they're all me. Yeah. And some of those sides I don't use very often. And some of them I don't even know they're there, because the situation has never been the situation that needs that facet to swing round and shine the light for myself and for other people to go, well, there's a star. There's a light in the sky to follow. Yeah. And so that person that says, hey, look, I just get to be my authentic self. And my worry is, it's like you are underestimating what you could lead right now. You haven't put yourself in that uncomfortable situation where you go, am I enough? Am I enough? And the diamond swings round to manage that. Yeah. And you feel uncomfortable and inauthentic and like, I will be found out on this. They will find out I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. That's the risk that leaders that I tend to work with, that's what they're doing. They're putting themselves in that. They're going, they're often going, nobody else is going to do this. It's down to me. Like, it's my duty now to do this. And it's hard work and it takes a lot of energy. And the version of them when they're not in that situation feels like a very different version, but it is not an act.
Mark, you often, you do work with government leaders, major government leaders. You work with, and you're often called upon on TV to comment on, let's say, speeches by heads of governments, and you work with them directly.
Yeah.
What's specific about the political arena? What's different to, let's say, a business leader, CEO compared to a head of government?
Yeah. Look, I think, and this has changed. In fact, as social media, as media came along, media was never really that focused on the CEO. And the CEO was never really that focused on the media. Yeah. Whereas for politicians, you would always have a politician on the news at night, many of them. Certainly in the UK. Yeah.
True.
Would you have a business leader on the news every night? Probably less so. And would you have business leaders going, I got to get myself on the news tonight? Well, now because of the democratization of the ownership of companies, yeah, that you can just get online and buy yourself a single share in a company. It's democratized. Like they are now. It is now like you are voting for your CEO as much as you're voting for your leader. With your wallet, essentially. I think they've got closer to each other, which is they are on display and looking for display 24/7. Yeah. And that didn't used to be the case for CEOs. I didn't used to have to say to a CEO, hey, listen, you're going to do this all the time. Like you are now being recorded at every moment. This is the public you. And every time you're not being the public you, you're at risk of not showing the right facet to people.
I agree. It's totally my experience as well.
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago, we would do CEO comms, let's say every 3 or 6 months, breakfast TV, stock market, results, right? We talk about the results. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, once a quarter, if that. And their quarter had to be making the news that they would even, and if it's now making the news, it would be like, well, what's up with it? It's either either really good or really bad, and both are very unpredictable. So both don't play very, very, very well.
Yeah.
If your stock does really well, the pension company has to then sell it and put the money somewhere else into something really predictable. They have to rebalance. So it's like either way was really bad. Now it's like, can you get in front of that audience, and can you keep on showing the consistent brand to that audience? That's a different thing. Politicians were like that more often.
Yeah.
And again, that's just risen up.
Absolutely, yeah, and I don't see an end to this. I mean, it's so intense, and I don't see any sign of abating.
Yeah, I would agree.
Mark, this is so good, and I'm learning so much. I'm having so much fun. Where can people find out more about you, your books, your work?
Yeah, it's super easy to find. Just go to truthplane.com, TRUTHPLANE, truthplane.com, and you'll find me there. All the books, lots of videos, lots of stuff to look at.
Perfect. And all over social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc.
I'm there.
Bowden is everywhere. This one was my final question. What's your best piece of communications advice?
Yeah, so this is like just general overarching communication advice. Make a choice, make it bigger, keep it tidy. Okay, just 3 things. Make a choice, like make a decision. Yeah. Now make it bigger. The choice that you've made, you didn't think big enough. They'll never see it. They're not seeing a billboard that big. like it's got to be 10 times that big. That message that you've constructed, that choice that you made, you didn't really choose there. I don't really know what you're saying. Yeah, so make it bigger. And now once you've made it bigger, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go, oh, but what about those people over there? They like a little bit of this. And, oh, I've got to balance that out with a little bit of this and a little. No, keep it tidy.
Right. They're called target audience.
Yeah.
Do you have a story of a business or business leader who did this well?
Yeah, I mean, look, a specific. There's so many that a specific story is hard to find, and then you start to. People will realize who I'm talking about. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. But ultimately, if you stick to this every time you do it, you've got a mantra to judge yourself by, and you've got a format and a process to keep. Yeah. So I would say make a choice, make it bigger, keep it tidy will serve you incredibly well, not only in, simple communications, but broader, more brand communications as well. Hope that somewhat answers your question with me skirting round.
Perfect. Mark Bowden, thank you very much. That was awesome. So much fun, so much to learn from you. And I appreciate all the work you're doing. Thank you.
My pleasure. Great to see you, Oliver.
Thanks for watching. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the Speak Like a CEO channel. It means the world to me, and it helps us keep bringing you world-class insights and guests.